Cycron's silence had never sounded so holy. Princess Vere lay in ceremonial repose, silken wraps clinging to her ice-pale skin, each breath a vaporous farewell to the dying world. Her priestesses hummed the ancestral dirge, low and slow, lips trembling as they chanted. Let her essence melt into the soul of snow. It was all very solemn. Very final. Very damp. The oil massage had gone on a bit too long. Vere, still flat on the crystal slab, opened one eye. Am I glistening enough to transcend? Yes, your endfulness, murmured the high priestess, wiping sweat from her forehead. You are radiant. Dripping with surrender. Then came the explosion. A boom shattered the hush, followed by the sound of screeching metal and a very unholy string of curses. The citadel trembled. Snow rained from the ceiling. The chant broke off with a gasp as something, or someone, slammed into the temple doors. Enter Captain Roland Beckett. Human. Muddy. Smoldering. His left boot was on fire. Who the hell parks a ship in an ice canyon? He growled, stomping out the flames on his leg. His eyes scanned the room, pausing on Vere's mostly exposed form, slick with oil, glowing under sacred torchlight. He blinked. Am I interrupting a cult orgy or a funeral? Priestesses screamed. One fainted into a holy incense pit. Another pointed and shouted. He has pierced the sanctum. And he's heavily armed. Beckett looked down at the thermal injector slung across his chest, long, cylindrical, pulsating faintly with internal heat coils. This? It's for warming up cryochambers. Not mating rituals. Probably. Vere sat up slightly, her chest heaving. You brought a device. Are you the one foretold? The one to enter me before the final shiver? Lady, I think there's been a translation error somewhere. But it was too late. The priestesses surrounded him in awe, murmuring about the warm rod of the Skybringer. Beckett backed up, hands raised. Look, I just crashed, all right? My landing stabilizers failed. I'm not here to penetrate any chosen ones. I've got equipment, but it's not that kind of equipment. Vere raised a trembling hand. Let him approach. I feel a tingling. That's probably mild hypothermia. Beckett muttered, stepping closer anyway. The air was frigid, but Vere's body radiated heat, artificial, generated by the sacred warming stones beneath her slab. Her eyes met his, equal parts majestic and suggestively confused. You came, at my final hour. Does your kind often arrive, uninvited yet well-equipped? We specialize in bad timing and inappropriate tools. Beckett deadpanned. He pulled the injector free and knelt. You're freezing. I've got one working blanket left, and this janky heat stick. If I angle it just right. He aimed the device at her core temperature zones. It sputtered. Then vibrated. Loudly. Vere gasped. The priestesses gasped harder. Beckett winced. That's not what it sounds like. I feel it. Vere cried out. He is awakening me. Internally. Beckett shouted over the noise. This is not spiritual. This is thermodynamic restoration. Stop moaning. A nearby scribe collapsed. The human humps her back to life. Beckett flipped a switch. The machine stopped buzzing. Silence fell again. Panting, Vere whispered. It's inside me now, isn't it? The heat, yes. Let's just go with that. She touched his cheek with trembling fingers. Tell me your name, Restorer. Captain Roland Beckett. Terran Alliance. Search and rescue. Though honestly, this is way above my pay grade. I am Vere, last of Cycron's flamebearers. I had accepted my end. But you've made me question what should come after. I just wanted to stop frostbite. And yet you ignited more. The priestesses began to chant anew, this time in praise of the human with the iron hand and the steaming pole. Beckett face-bombed. Yup, he muttered. Typical Tuesday. And somewhere, far beneath the temple floor, the thermal systems of Cycron stirred for the first time in a decade, prompted not by prophecy or prayer, but by the accidental activation of an old human core reactor. Unaware, Vare pulled him closer. Stay, human. If this is death, let us embrace it together. Beckett sighed, then smirked. Lady, I'm here to make sure you live. But if hugging's involved, I'm not opposed to multitasking. And the warmth, against all odds, began to spread. Beckett spent the next 10 minutes fending off ceremonial robes, invasive translations, and one particularly curious priestess who kept asking if the pole required sacred lubrication. Vare, now draped in a thermal cape and exuding warmth both literal and metaphorical, observed the human with growing interest and suspicious levels of amusement. You're not what I expected from the stars, she said, sipping melted frostberry juice. You're louder. And your clothes don't match. Beckett, crouched beside his cracked gear, looked up. You're not what I expected from a culture that celebrates dying in a frozen temple. No offense. None taken. We are dramatic by nature. It's the cold. It exaggerates everything, emotions, rituals, nipples. He choked slightly. Right. Sacred iciness. Got it. She leaned forward. So. You come bearing tools, heat, and reckless optimism. Is that a standard Terran mating approach? Mating? He paused. Lady, I'm here to fix your climate controls, not your love life. Can it be both? She said sweetly. Multitasking is a human virtue, no? Before he could retort, a rumble shook the floor. Panels on the wall flickered. The lights, dim blue and religiously gloomy, brightened with sudden golden warmth. A hidden reactor deep below the citadel had stirred from slumber, awakened by Beckett's jerry-rigged heater and a forgotten fusion cable. A priestess screamed. The afterglow! The Earthman has triggered the afterglow! Beckett blinked. That wasn't me. That was gravity and an exposed coolant loop. Maybe a loose plug. Vare rose. Then your plug has awakened the gods. He muttered. That's going to be taken out of context forever. The energy surge spread. Panels lit up. Ancient control arrays buzzed. Systems dormant for decades blinked to life. Automated voice protocols and ancient Psycrani boomed overhead. Beckett understood none of it, but the tone suggested either worship or alarm. I think I triggered a planetary awakening sequence, he said, standing. Might want to hold off on your grand death ritual for a day or two. Vare stepped beside him, her hand brushing his. You've brought heat to more than the chamber. The people outside, they will feel this warmth. And they will rise. That's great, but I came here because your distress beacon reactivated, he said. Your civilization declared planetary abandonment. Why the change of heart? She hesitated, looking toward a crystalline window. Outside, vast frost plains sparkled under the pale sky, slowly softening under waves of geothermal steam. We left it on, in case someone heard. And here I am. Yes. With your rod and your refusal to let people die quietly. He laughed. We humans are stubborn like that. From the hallway, a stampede of voices grew louder, engineers, warriors, exiled survivors returning from cryopods and sub-zero bunkers, drawn by the sudden warmth. They flooded the chamber. And all of them saw the human standing at the heart of the revival. And there beside him, flushed, glowing, unmistakably not dead. She has been claimed by the Skybringer, someone whispered. Another gasped. He has filled her temple. Beckett raised a finger. Nobody say anything involving filling. Too late. Vare smirked. Captain, perhaps you should accept that you've become a legend. I was aiming for a guy who turns the lights on, he grumbled. Vare turned to the crowd. People of Psychron! This human has not only restored heat, but hope. He brings his own warmth. His own manual methods. Someone asked. What does he need in return? Beckett held up both hands. Nothing. I just want to survive the next few hours and maybe find a sandwich. Vare stepped forward. He will stay. He is our honored warmblood. And I wish to learn more. Of his resilience. Of his instruments. Of his endurance. Again, Beckett said quickly. Pretty sure you mean my survival instincts. She didn't break eye contact. Do I? The crowd cheered. A ceremony began. The high priestess pulled out another oil pot. No, Beckett said. Absolutely not. You will embrace your role, Vare whispered. Or be chased by ceremonial virgins. They take tradition seriously. I hate this planet. You'll love it once I show you how we honor heatbringers. Your culture is very hands-on. Your resistance is melting. Fine. But someone better find me pants that aren't stuck to my thigh. Vare smiled, her expression a perfect blend of dignity and suggestive mischief. We'll melt them off. And so, amidst the rising warmth, the return of a buried people, and a rapidly spreading misunderstanding about what thermal injector meant, Captain Roland Beckett accidentally became the savior of an icebound world, and the center of every scandalous winter solstice story for the next 1,000 years. The news of the humans spread like geothermal fire through frostbitten veins. Villages once buried in snow stirred. Survivors emerged from underground thermal burrows, blinking into the light. And every whispered report repeated the same exaggerated message. A Terran warrior had penetrated the sacred citadel, revived the frozen princess, and wielded a heat rod of unstoppable might. Beckett, meanwhile, was ankle-deep in coolant fluid and trying to weld a fusion leech shut with a thermal torch and zero appreciation for how famous his pants had become. Vare stood behind him, observing closely. Too closely. That torch? It vibrates. Don't start. I wasn't going to say anything. You already did. I'm curious about human craftsmanship. You put it to such vigorous use. Lady, this thing barely works. Like me, after 4 hours of emergency patching and zero snacks. Humans fuel through friction. That much is clear. He stopped and stared at her. How are you still misunderstanding everything I say? She stepped around him, her breath visible in the steam. I understand. You're just not ready to embrace your legend. But the people are. I didn't come here to start a movement. I came because your backup beacon went off and I thought someone needed help. You gave them heat. But they craved warmth. Beckett snorted. You speak in poetry. I speak in duct tape. Perhaps that is your power. The door hissed open. A delegation of Frost Clan elders entered, bearing gifts, fermented glacier fruit, robes stitched from mammoth fur, and a ceremonial sash bearing his new title, He Who Entered When All Was Lost. Beckett winced. That doesn't sound heroic. They mean well, Vare said, taking the sash. It's traditional. Everything here has double meaning. I noticed. The oldest elder bowed. Skybringer, we request your seed. Beckett nearly dropped his torch. Excuse me? Your seed. For our crops. You carry Terran soil tech, yes? You bring growth. You plant with fire. Oh. You mean my terraformer pods. Not personal seed. The elder nodded. Also that if your schedule allows? Vare whispered. It's a compliment. They consider it an honor. I feel deeply honored and vaguely violated. He handed over the terraformer keycard. Use this. It'll scan your climate zones and start restoring basic oxygen cycles. No seed necessary. A cheer rose. Drums beat. A young girl shouted. He saved our soil and our souls. Another added. And he's got great thighs. Beckett rubbed his temple. This is a nightmare wearing a crown of comedy. Vare leaned close. Embrace it. You're a man of action. Of warmth. Of misunderstood tools. Great. I'll be a myth about tubes and trousers. A technician rushed in, breathless. The planetary core node, it's stable. Heat levels rising. And someone restored communications to the orbital relay. Beckett turned. That was me. I had to rig your frozen satellite with an AUX coupler made from a broken fork and a heating coil. You used a fork to fix orbital uplink? Vare asked. And some chewing gum. Very advanced Terran science. Another whisper spread. He bends even the stars with chewing tools. He sighed. Okay. New plan. I fix your planet, then quietly sneak away. You think we'll let you go now? You've melted more than ice. I've created a cult. You've awakened a people. I just wanted to prevent frostbite. You've become our symbol of penetration and preservation. Beckett paused. That's actually not the worst title I've earned. She touched his hand. You've given us a future. And I wish to understand yours. You mean Earth? I mean you. He hesitated. You're royalty. I'm a guy with a ship duct taped together and a reputation for inappropriate tools. All the more reason. The elders handed him a ceremonial fruit. It steamed. What's this? A fertility offering, Ver said. You eat it before union. I'm not eating anything that looks like it's pulsing. It's a living tradition. It's a breathing apricot. They sing too. Beckett put the fruit down slowly. I'll stick to protein bars. The people began preparing for a grand festival. Fires roared. Dancers rehearsed the ceremonial. Warmth spiral. Children carved sculptures of the Skybringer, mostly exaggerated in one area. Beckett frowned. Why does that statue have 3 legs? Artistic freedom. I'm never escaping this story, am I? Ver grinned. No. But you'll learn to enjoy it. He exhaled. Fine. I'll finish patching your reactor systems. Then I'll give a speech, shake a few hands, and leave before anyone brings out another oil pot. They already brought 5. And I'm suddenly too warm. Then you've truly become one of us.